Did you notice how Mikel Arteta tweaked his pressing setup midway through the first half? United's sharp attacking play forced Arsenal into an early adjustment, but that was just one of several tactical duels unfolding in this match. Let's break it down, starting with United in possession from deep, and especially from goal kicks. United often tried to push Dick into midfield, and the logic was straightforward. Take a look at Arsenal's initial pressing structure. It was a 4-2-2-2, with the wingers pressing high, angling their runs from wide to narrow onto the center backs. The intention was clear. In the base shapes of both sides, United's midfield looked slightly underloaded, made worse by Casemiro's struggles under pressure. So, Arsenal's plan was to funnel as much of United's build-up as possible through the center, where they could exploit that weakness. And that's exactly what this setup delivered. Martinelli and Saka closed down the wide center backs, cutting off the outside lanes and forcing play, either into the middle or into a hopeful long ball. At the same time, Gyökeres, leading the line, stayed tight on Casemiro. This meant Arsenal only needed one extra midfielder to step up and support, leaving Rice and Zubimendi free to sit deeper and guard the space against anyone dropping in. So, why push the lid further forward? The answer lies in what it unlocked. By stepping into midfield as an additional pivot, he gave Fernandes the license to move higher up the pitch. From there, Fernandes constantly shifted across the front line, always trying to provide the center back or goalkeeper with the perfect passing option. Earlier, United often found themselves either outnumbered or locked into man-to-man duels in midfield. But with this adjustment, they could now create a potential 5 versus 4 overload in the center, even before factoring in the false 9 dropping deeper. And it worked, as you can see with Fernandes picking up the ball here. So, was this central battle the reason Arteta switched his pressing setup? Surprisingly, no. Arteta was comfortable with the structure itself. The real issue was the personnel executing it. When Arsenal successfully funneled United through the middle, the visitors rarely managed to break through. The danger came instead when a winger mistimed his press. For instance, as we see here with Martinelli, leaving just enough space for United's man to receive the ball outside the pressing track. This completely disrupted Arsenal's pressing system. Suddenly, Calafiori had to step up from full back, leaving Agardi free to exploit the wide areas. And the last thing Arteta wanted was his center backs being dragged out wide, especially with Mount and Cunha positioned dangerously through the middle. The adjustment: keep the overall shape intact, but swap the roles. Gyökeres moved into Martinelli's pressing position, while Rice stepped forward into Gyökeres' role. That shift allowed Martinelli to stay in a more natural wide midfield slot. So even if United managed to bypass the central press and Martinelli pressed higher, it was Calafiori, not a center back, handling the wide battle. The risk, however, was clear. With 2 midfielders now stepping up in the press, if Fernandes was able to push higher and combine that with the forwards dropping deeper, United suddenly had a much stronger chance of progressing through the center. But did you also notice how Amorim is using his defenders in a completely different way this season compared to last? Last year, United's controlled possession looked very static, all 3 center backs holding their ground, regardless of how much dominance they had. This time around, it's the total opposite. At the slightest opening, both Urel and Shaw were pushing forward, either stepping into full back zones or drifting into the half spaces, while the rest of the defense reshaped into a back 2. With the wing back and wide forward already advanced, this created opportunities for United to establish 3 versus 2, or even for versus 3 overloads. And through quick combination play, those advantages regularly led to United players finding themselves in dangerous positions, just like we see here. Even the average position maps highlight how much more adventurous United's wide center backs were this time. And as they chased the game, Amorim made further tweaks, like introducing Ahmad to double up on Calafiori or adding a focal point in Sesko. But let's shift the focus now. Arsenal in possession, United out of possession. Interestingly, United's pressing setup was almost the mirror image of Arsenal's. And by the way, if you're looking to make 2025-26 the season you finally master the fundamentals of tactical analysis, check out Tactics 12 through the link in the description. It's a free 12-day course I've put together to teach you the core principles of analysis, step by step. Back to United. Like Arsenal, they knew their biggest vulnerability lay through the middle of the pitch. The difference was, while Amorim was willing to take the risk of pushing the lid into midfield when building possession, out of possession he insisted on keeping his back 3 intact. So the adjustment had to come from United's front 3. High up the pitch, they shifted from a flat line to having one man, usually Mount or Cunha, drop in just behind the other 2. This gave United a much stronger central block of 5, while still leaving 2 forwards ready to press in the middle. To put it simply, Arsenal's pressing aim was to funnel United into the center, whereas United's pressing aim was the exact opposite, to force Arsenal wide. That way, their aggressive fullback could step up, while the rest of the defense tucked in to form a back four, and United executed this very well. Arsenal managed to play through the center only 27% of the time, but that number also explains why United were so protective of that zone, because when Arsenal did go central, they often exposed United's weakness. For example, Zubimndi would frequently drop into the back line, making United's front to far less effective in their press. This also had the secondary effect of pulling the United forward higher up the pitch. In fact, their mid-block often settled into a compact 5-3, which again left just two men in midfield. Calafiori played a crucial role here, frequently stepping into the left half space early. This constantly forced Casemiro or Gardy into a dilemma: either sit back with him, or push forward to close down Rice or Zubimndi. And since those two were far greater threats, Calafiori was often left as the spare man, giving him the chance to receive between the lines and drive Arsenal forward. All in all, this opening day clash was a tactical showcase, with both managers willing to experiment. But even in defeat, I found Amorim's approach particularly impressive. What did you make of the match? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to sharpen your understanding of the game, check out Tactics 12 through the link in the description. Oh, and if you're a United fan, don't miss my deep dive into the tactical problems that have lingered ever since Ferguson left. Just click the video on screen now.